Good afternoon, Miracle Swingers. Today's video is awesome. I'm going to show you how I pivot around my trail leg, and it's completely inspired by Ben Hogan. Now, my golf swing has obviously evolved a ton this year since I stopped trying to drop it under. This has completely changed my golf game. I played on Tuesday, won several skins against the big boys, and I drove the ball as well as I ever have in my life. I mean, I was just pounding drivers. So I am playing the best of my life. I want you to play the best of your life. So I highly recommend you go to MSE TV, sign up at myswingevolution.com. You get all of my instruction videos complete. It's great. The over-the-top miracle swing is my best-selling video of all time. And it's the simplest and easiest to do. I can't recommend it highly enough. Now, guys, the next MSE Intensive is on November 5th and 6th. I'm taking people right now. OTT. It's going to be an incredible time, and it's a transformational experience. Now, I want to share with you why transformation is so important, and I'm reminded of a passage from my new book that I'm working on, and I wanted to share that with you because I think it's super duper cool. The pro Jack is talking to an aspiring pro who wants to make it to the big tour, and Jack tells him this: every guy has an internal governor, so to speak, a level of comfort that they can handle before their game goes sour. For me, I always knew I belonged on tour. I never had a doubt. I always knew I could win, too. I thought I had a chance every event I was in until it came to majors. Deep down in my heart, I never believed I could win a major. I was close many times, but my demons stole every chance I ever had from me. So the aspiring pro says, well, what do you have to do to raise your governor? And Jack says, you must die to your old self and be reborn. It requires a transformation of consciousness. That's what my swing evolution is. I transformed myself from being an 80s and 90s player to a 70s player. I had to go through a transformation to finally break par. I had to go to a transformation to lose all this weight. I had to transform myself to pick up 60 yards with my driver. And right now I'm trying to transform my short game. I want to be a master of the short game. So you have to die to your old self. It's a spiritual change as much as it's a technical change. Okay, guys? So listen, if you guys want a lesson or if you want to come out to the MSE Intensive, hit me up, Christo at myswingevolution.com. Now, I'm taking on 4 online students. I don't even know if you call it online, but I've been making online videos for a while, and the price has been very expensive because it takes me hours and hours to make a student video like the video that I'm making right now. But I had a friend tell me, he's like, that's not how you give remote lessons. He's like, just take your phone, go through the 2 or 3 lessons for the student, talk to them directly, and then shoot them the video. That's how you do it. So I'm going to take on 4 students, okay? The price is $200 for 4 weekly lessons. If you'd like this, hit me up, Christo at myswingevolution.com. I love you guys. Now let's dig into how I do my Hogan pivot. I hope you hit them long and hit them straight. All right, guys, let's take a look at the masterful swing of Ben Hogan. Now, I put this handy line here to show where Mr. Hogan's hips are at the beginning of his backswing. So as we take a look at this backswing, we're going to watch how much depth Ben Hogan creates with his right hip. Here, Mr. Hogan is at P2, and he's already created 3 to 4 inches of depth with his right hip. So this is one dimension of hip depth that I want to talk about. So here he's probably approaching 4 to 5 inches as he gets to the top of his backswing. He does make a move back to the ball, you'll notice, with that hip. I certainly do too much. So he moves back towards the line, we can see. Is this early extension? Not by this definition, because he stays at that depth. So it's interesting that he gets deeper and comes back to the ball a little bit with that hip. Now, the next video I want to show you is very important because this next video is the video that I watch over and over again, and it's the picture I imagine in my mind of how I want my hips to work in the swing. Look at that right hip. He drives that hip behind him and towards the target. His weight is shifting before he reaches the top of his backswing, guys. As you lift, you go left. Okay, so Mr. Hogan talked about wanting to restrict his backswing. He wanted to restrict his hips. I talk about governors in the swing. So the way he restricted his right hip from going too bananas is by pointing his right foot forward. Okay, we can see I put a circle around his right foot, and I have a dot on his right hip bone. Okay, so let's go through this swing here and watch how Mr. Hogan travels deep with his right hip and towards the target. So we can see that his hip is way, way deep and way, way left of where he started at this point. So this is what I'm trying to do, guys. I'm trying to get deep, deep into my right hip as I go back. Now I wanted to pull out an iron so we could watch Mr. Hogan with an iron. And even though this club is far shorter, he does the exact same thing. He is turning and headed left as far as he can go until that left leg has to catch him. Okay, I've got a lot more room to go in this area because I get scared. But what I'm working on doing is pushing that right hip behind me so far that I can't go any further. So here's a comparison of myself and Mr. Hogan. Again, I'll never be Ben Hogan, but I'm trying to push that right hip behind me and towards the target. Okay, now let's check out some of my swings from this practice session. All right, guys, so here I am settling into my stance. Now I am trying to actively drive that right hip behind me as far as I can go. And as I watch it, the funny thing is I realize I'm nowhere close to Ben Hogan. But you'll notice here that I actually do pressure right before I can go left. Once again, here I am. I load into that right leg before I try and push to go back to the left. Now, another thing that I noticed at the top of my backswing is you'll see a slight change of direction. This is my OTT move I want to talk about, and it's very subtle, okay? But once I get to the top, there's going to be a slight redirection where the handle goes out towards the ball, ever so slightly. I'm turning and pulling down, so it's not very visible, but inside of my body I can feel it so much. All right, so let's check out another angle. All right, so here we go again. We're going to take a new look at this and see what it looks like from this angle. Yeah, I'm interested because I really load into my right side before I go left, more so than it feels like. Well, this was a great ball striking round, guys. I think this advice is very helpful for folks out there. It helps my students. Let me know if you want to come out to the next MSE Intensive. It's a transformational event, November 5th and 6th. And if you're interested in any personal lessons or online lessons, hit me up, Christo at myswingevolution.com. I hope you hit them long and hit them straight.
Are you ready to experience your very own miracle? Christo Garcia, the man who swung as Ben Hogan in the Golf Channel special Hogan, has created the most controversial and effective golf training program in history.
Good to see it. How are you? The old PGA pros, they had this much simpler kind of wisdom. The goal I have for you guys today is to give you a natural swing that's fundamentally sound, that doesn't require any type of manufactured motion. That's what I'm talking about, my friend.
What made the most sense was learning how to put leverage on the shaft. You can really feel the flex in that shaft, especially when you expose it to the ball.
It's a miracle.
That's the OTT. Thanks, man.
Do you have a burning desire to get better at golf?
Like that.
Are you frustrated by overcomplicated modern golf instruction? Well, your prayers have been answered. Since my eyes have been opened, I've helped thousands of golfers around the world save their swings and soothe their soul. OTT! This is the over-the-top miracle swing.
Now's your chance to learn the over-the-top miracle swing, only at myswingevolution.com.